Good evening, everyone. This is Keith Johnson with your Business Buzz for Wednesday, December 18th, 2025. 1 week until Christmas. I know I still have some Christmas shopping left to do. Today, very, very busy day, and let's get to it. So what happened was the stock market was looking pretty good early on. It was up, a couple hundred points all morning, and I think I checked it at about 1:45. This was about 15 minutes before the Fed announcement on interest rates, and it was still holding up. It was, probably about up 180, 190, and it looked like it was going to uh, break the 9-day losing streak. But then 2 o'clock happened, and the Fed released its decisions from its latest meetings. They have one about every 6 weeks or so, and they decided to, as expected, to cut interest rates by 1/4%. Market pretty much had priced it in. Nobody thought that it was, a shock. We all saw it. I saw it. Even my dead grandma saw it. But what really hurt was when Fed Chairman Jerome Powell in his press conference said basically, well, we're going to slow down the rate cuts for this coming year because in 2025, he's lowered the guidance from 4 to 2. And he said that, they're still very cautious about inflation. Inflation came in around 2.7 as we reported last week. Their target rate is about 2%. With the Fed cutting the interest rate or cutting the interest rates expected, but with the expected slowdown in the amount of rate cutting, markets didn't take it well. So the last 2 hours of the session, the markets plunged 1,100 points. And as such, it extended the losing streak to 10 days, which is the longest since 1974. Now, if you all remember, in 1974, we had Watergate, we had the oil shocks, the oil embargoes from OPEC. It's not a good time to live. I mean, I was a kid. I thought it was pretty cool. I was 8, and I thought, hey, it's, I was kind of la-di-da, but I knew kind of what was going on. I was a news junkie, even when I was, like a preteen. But so what happened was, so they extended the 10-day losing streak to 10 days. So not very good day for the market. I was looking just before I came on. The futures are up by about 100. So the good news about that is that if it holds, then we might have a decent chance of breaking the losing streak tomorrow. There's no major announcements or anything like that. I mean, if there's some world event that would cause a crash, then that would happen. But, they're not, there's no Fed announcements or anything like that, or economic data that would cause the stock market to plunge again. Okay, so also prior to that Fed announcement, there was a lot of news this morning. First, the Senate passed an $895 billion with a B defense spending for the next year, largely expected. What I don't get is that, and I get this lame duck Congress doing it, but they're trying to pass all the wasteful bills with lots and lots of pork in it before Vivek and Elon Musk get their hands on them. Because I know there's going to be a lot of cutting. And, I look at Twitter, of course, and, I post the news updates to the account several times a day, and Elon posts quite a bit. And oh my God, it'd be I would be such a fanboy if he ever responded to me. Looking forward to starting Doge in just over a month now. So it's getting close. Um, the big thing about the 895 billion is that it was passed without a provision to provide trans reaffirming surgeries to the dependents of medical personnel. I totally agree with that. I think if somebody wants to do that, fine, but they need to do it on their own dime. So um, I think, and here's Christmas. Actually, she'll be Christmas for about another 2 weeks or so, and then first of the year she goes to her name she carries most of the year as Chrissy. Anyway, so she's actually looking out the window to see if there's any critters out there. Anyway, back to the news. So we had that. Then, along the same lines, similar stories. The GOP just can't get out of the way from themselves again, knowing that their Trump is and Elon, Vivek, they're going to be under a microscope in the new year. They passed a omnibus bill, basically to keep the government funding. Had the government had this not been done, the government would have shut down, for all but absolutely essential purposes, defense, Social Security, all that. They would have gone. They would have been shutting down until starting Friday. Okay, so they passed. So usually, what happens is they either pass a continuing resolution, which is just enough money, we hope, to get them into the new year, where the new Congress is seated, the new government's in there in January, and they can work on it then. I hate that. It's like, okay, you have a spending problem. Fix the spending problem. Okay, don't keep kicking the can down the road. Nobody likes that. We don't like it. You know what we do when we're short of money? We cut back our spending. We have to. And, you would think that the government would do that, but they don't. What they do is what they did was instead of a continuing resolution, which would have kind of just floated them until the new year, they passed an omnibus. And it has caused all sorts of chaos with it. The old Congress, the one that's in lame duck right now, what is it? They have like a 2-seat majority, the Republicans, and they're rebelling against Speaker of the House Mike Johnson because they certainly don't like all the pork that's in it. A lot of the more right-wing conservatives and some of the more moderate ones, they want a little more fiscal restraint. For instance, in the bill they passed, it was it raised, or they haven't passed it yet. Excuse me. It was delivered. They expect a vote Friday because there's a 72-hour period so that the members of Congress and their staffs can read the bill and figure out what to do with it. It's a departure from the old Nancy Pelosi's, we got to pass the bill to know what's in it. So they do have a 72-hour rule. So it's not passed yet, which is good because, yes, the debate needs to be done. But getting back to what I was saying, they had in that bill, Congress salary for Congress members go up by 40%. Oh yeah, everybody else is suffering. They get a 40% raise from like 174,000 a year to somewhere around 235 to 240,000. Not good. Some would say it's been 174 for a long time and they needed some kind of adjustment. Well, if that's the case, then maybe a fourth of that, maybe 10% or something like that. I mean, the salary is the least amount, what they're, um, what a lot of these people make. So, you know, they're not going to miss. If they get 10% instead of 40%, most of them are still going to make their money other ways. So, no, I am glad that the House is in the uproar. The only problem with that is that there's the longer this goes on, the more Speaker Johnson is in danger, and the problem is also with President-elect Trump taking a few of the Republican representatives and nominating them to high cabinet positions. What was it? It was like 5-seat majority is now like 1 or 2. And there was one representative that said, no, I'm not. She was from Iowa, and said, no, I'm not going to vote with the Republicans anymore. I'm not going to caucus with them. I'm a Republican, but don't count on me for your vote. In fact, she's quit all of her committee assignments and stuff. So lots of stuff going on in Congress as they try to spend as much money, waste as much money, and put the country in worse financial shape before they term out. Congress gets seated January 3rd. So that is, it's 16 days away. So, it can't get here fast enough. But hopefully the damage, is low, as little damage can be done until then. Okay, so I think that'll do it. There was a lot to do today, so I will, I just can't believe it's been 1974 since they did that. So, but it is what it is. And so if you have any questions, please subscribe. I forgot to, every time I'm on here, some people say, oh yeah, please subscribe, a lot of cool channels out there. And they always say that. So, I'm trying to build this channel too. I'm very small, very, very small, but I want to grow. So please subscribe and like the content I'm making. And, as time goes on, I'll learn more tricks and it'll get better. So please hang with me over, my goal is 2025. And one of my New Year's goals is to vastly improve, the content and all. So, but, I'll be doing a lot of tech learning over the next year. So I appreciate that. Anyway, I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night. And this is Keith Johnson from the Business Buzz saying good night.